What is up, guys, and welcome to Episode 3, Season 2 of the Nexus podcast. Hope everyone's doing well. We have a very special guest today, the inaugural world champion, Caleb. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing wonderful. As you can see, I'm in paradise right now.
Yeah, he's spending those bucks.
Yep. I'm spending it wisely.
It's great. It's great. Great to have you, and thanks for coming along today. We're gonna be doing some. We're gonna talk a little bit about your world stuff, but obviously you've already done an interview, which you guys can go check out on Cosmic's channel already. So we're gonna focus more on set 4 tier list and just having a chat really. But yeah, anyway, let's do our normal hello. So how are you doing, Emmy? You good?
I'm good. I'm always the first one.
It's because you're above me, so like when I look up at my screen, you're the first face I see. So I'm like, all right, I'll go for you.
It's good to be above you. I'm good. I'm doing well. I've started playing some of the set 4. It's a lot of fun. Also, it's a lot of fun trying to not die to Hydra as well. But yeah, really excited to have Caleb here today, and looking forward to dive into some card review.
We do love a tier list.
How you doing?
Yeah, tired, man. Super busy. It's been a busy old time since we've returned from our travels, but yeah, pretty good. Had a bunch of client interviews today. In one of them was asking about Battle Spirits, actually. So I think it's the first job interview I've had where I've been showing Hollow Beast, Glassbear, and Damn Diners over webcam. I doubt I'll get that job, but it was a good time nevertheless. And yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow, so 1 year older. Pretty hyped for that, but even more hyped to have our accomplished guest on here. So yes, a very good evening overall. And yeah, Kieran, how about you? How's things going?
Yeah, good. We've just been firing locals since getting back from LA now, so we're just kind of like milking up the very last few locals before set 4 comes into effect. I think we've got 2 more locals until set 4, so looking forward to it.
Awesome. And Caleb, how have you been since you won the world championship? Has the party stopped yet, or are you still full on?
As you can see, it's not gonna stop. You know? It's gonna be year long. No, I just got back. I was just so exhausted because, as you guys all know, like, we practice like this whole time, right before Worlds. So it's just good just to take a little break, So I needed a couple weeks off just to relax, refocus, and for this year, hopefully get some more goals and accomplish them.
Okay, so before we fully dive into the set 4 stuff, do you want to just give us like a brief rundown of your first year? Because obviously you world champion, obviously, but you had a lot of success building up to it, and the game's not even been out 12 months yet, so it must have been quite a roller coaster for you. And just wondering if you've had previous experience at this, the highest level in other games and stuff.
Yeah, so I first started off with Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was just a kid, like in elementary school. Mm-hmm. I used to play a lot, and then as I got older, I kept playing more and more. And I would say I was a very confident Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. I was around 15, 16, 17. I'd win, or I'd do good at regionals and stuff like that. I couldn't travel too much because I was a kid, but if there was something close, I'd go to what they call a YCS. And I topped 1. And then that was pretty much it. So I wouldn't say I was very successful in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I felt like I was pretty good at the game.
I mean, that's starting a game young is quite a good foundation, obviously, to build on it as you get older, because obviously we get smarter as we get older. So it's probably a good foundation for you for Battle Spirits in reality. So did you play any games in between that, or?
Yeah, then I quit Yu-Gi-Oh when I was 17, 18, around that age, and then I took a pretty big break. I played Hearthstone just for fun, the beta.
Oh, cool.
Wow, that was forever ago. And then I played Force of Will, some Magic in there, and then eventually now we're where we're at right now. with Battle Spirits.
Of course. So how was your year? If you want to give us a few of your like highlights, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I started like, oh my gosh, like in February before the game was even out. I was like playing with that's where I met my friends. I met I'm not sure if you guys know Kai, but that's where I met Kai. I mean, I met him in like looking for game, like so that was like really neat.
What on the on Discord or?
Yeah, was it Tensai?
Oh yeah.
That's was like the main. Yeah.
That's where I met Enoch, and when I learned to play the game as well. Yeah, that's because I had no one to play with.
Yeah, so I met like a lot of people on there, and that we were just playing on TTS whatnot, and then I don't know if you guys know Eggman, but like Eggman had like that first event, and I actually took it, and that was pretty cool. Like I basically got I won like the first event. It was more casual and stuff, but nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to Las Vegas. That was pretty tough for me because it was kind of like last minute. I'm like, I don't know if I can go, and also like it's weird to say now, but I was like, I don't know if I'm like good enough. So it's like,
don't know if you're good enough. Wow.
Like, am I just gonna waste a trip out there and like scrub out or something? Like, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Because at that time, like I didn't play card games for a while. Like it was a long time. So like it was definitely very daunting. We all know this. Like it's so daunting to go into and for all those people sit down and just play, right? Someone random or that you don't know. So anyway, so that happened. I was like, yeah, and then I just kept playing and playing. It's like, well, I guess I might as well go to Ohio, like the first like Grand Open that was like close by. And I don't know if some people know the story, but I did pretty bad. I was like I think I was 1-2. I was like so sad. I was like, man, this is so bad. And then I was like, maybe I should just drop and go home. And then my girlfriend was like, no, like we drove all the way here. You're definitely not dropping.
Nice.
And so I was like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll stay. Once I lose one, I can then I can leave. And then I just did not lose a single game.
Pep talk of your life.
I think it was like 9. Wait, how many rounds? There's 9 rounds, right? So I went 6-0 to get 30th place.
Wow.
So there was that, and then that gave me my invite to the Pro Tour. So I mean that was definitely a pivotal like point, with that. And then as everyone knows, like at the Pro Tour, I squeaked into X2. I won on the bubble, and then I won the whole thing. I definitely got a lucky side of the bracket, facing 2 red.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
Such a cool story, actually, from like almost giving up to winning the Pro Tour and then winning Worlds. I had a similar kind of experience when like I essentially had life commitments, so I couldn't make Pro Tour 1 and Pro Tour 2, and I just naively said, oh, I'll just do Pro Tour 3. But then it turned out the only Grand Open I could do was in Utrecht, and I just like bombed so hard. I was just like misplaying. I was just in my head. I won the first turn and I still felt shit. And then I play against Anthony, lost for the Dyna battle, and then just misplay against Kieran twice, miss Lethal twice, and I was just like, I'm trash at this game. I'm gonna sell my cards. And then like I just said, okay, fuck it, we're going to actually got the invite and made it to Portland. So yeah, good story there.
Never give up, guys. Never give up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even like I obviously there was a low chance, right? But as long as like you keep as long as you keep focused on like what you want, like you'll have a higher chance. If you just already give up, there's no chance, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So what?
I have a quick question on the story you mentioned earlier as well. So I think when you said that you went to Eggman's event and won it, like I can relate to the card gaming background. Like I also played Yu-Gi-Oh in high school, and as you know, those events are so competitive. Like the odds of topping anything are astronomical, and I had a similar experience where once I got the monkey of a big top off my back, I was just like, yeah, I'm done with this because it's so difficult up until that point. But for me, it was the launch event when I got top 8, and like I'm lying there in bed going into the next day, and I was sat there and I was like, oh, like I can actually win this. And it's like with Yu-Gi-Oh, I'd never really had that. So I was just wondering if for you that was also a confidence booster in terms of like, oh, I can actually win here. Whereas with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's just like impossible if you didn't cheat, basically.
I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel like, I mean, it's all these games. You know, we're playing a card game, right? Like, there's gonna be some luck. I just feel like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you needed more luck, right? And then that's why there's a lot of cheaters, right? Because I mean, like once you realize that like you can't win like 100% of the time, you're gonna have to do something, you know, that's not right. Then that's what they're gonna do, right? Especially there's no prize, so it never made sense. Like I would never even think about that anyway. But for Yu-Gi-Oh, basically, I think you'd have to get more lucky, basically. So yeah, it's definitely harder, right? There's more rounds. There's like more players that are like playing all the time. More things are basically getting figured out, whereas in BSS, you know, there's not as many things being figured out. So yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, well, in you know, with you know, this is kind of like a niche game, so like the less players, probably the easier it's going to be, right? Most likely.
And was it like a confidence boost after that win to where you were like, oh yeah, like I am good at this. I can turn up, and obviously some days go your way and some don't, but like at least I am one of the names at the table, so to speak.
Actually for me, I actually felt the opposite. I actually felt like a fake, like a
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I had like the imposter syndrome. So like after I won the Pro Tour, I was actually like felt like I had to like prove myself even more. So actually, so like I think that actually helped me though.
Well, I mean,
I was like...
you went the only one further up that you could, so I think you achieved that by winning worlds there. All really, really great stuff, and congratulations again, Caleb. It's you've had a phenomenal year. It's going to be difficult to replicate this year, but I imagine you're going to be in it to win it again. So,
you know, all you can do is try your best. You know, just try your best. Get yourself into good positions.
Exactly, you make your own luck, right? So,
yep.
But yeah, so as we can talk a bit more about Caleb and what he's done later on, but now we're going to move on to talking about some set 4 cards. Alrighty, so we have a little tier list guy. We've selected a few cards each to talk about, and yeah, we'll just get straight into it. So first off, we'll start off with Harry and Spike Knuckle Roger. Where do you want this bad boy to go?
Oh, Roger.
Roger Dodger.
It's a tough one between A and B. Like, I think I'll put it in B, but like a B++. Like, it's a very noteworthy card, namely because it doesn't require any Nexuses. So I played a Mandala deck for Worlds. I do really love Mandala. I think he's a very cool win con. But it does require a lot of setup, and as Caleb mentioned, Nexus removal was pretty prominent, which was much to my detriment on the day at Worlds, because I was just getting Burning Forced into Andromeda constantly, which stifled Mandala's flow. Roger obviously only mills for 6, but it has interesting interactions. For example, you can bounce it back with Sky Dragon Lord Platinum. It's an eligible target to be bounced for that. So you can actually do weird stuff where you recur it. And sometimes within some contexts, just the milling for 6 is enough. Or even in a dedicated Mandala deck, it just gets the mill engine started. So, I wouldn't speak too highly of it to put it in A, but I think it's definitely a solid card with some potential. We'll see as time goes on. But
it's definitely
an interesting alternative to Mandala that requires a lot less setup than Big Boy Mandala does.
Absolutely, and non-interactive mill is obviously a very popular mechanic in card games in general. A lot of people love it, so it's definitely a nice card for the fans of that kind of thing. Do you think it will be seen much in competitive play? you think people are going to be using too much mill in the next set? That's an open question to anyone that wants to answer it, really. But
mill, yeah, for sure. Like with Hydra, that naturally mills. I think Hydra kind of amalgamates the two pre-existing blue archetypes of set 3, where in set 3 you had sort of blue beatdown, Allegro, that sort of crush beatdown style of deck, whereas Mandala decks were more dedicated. Ironically, not that blue most of the time. You'd use it more in like K decks or white Mandala. Roger seems fine just to splash in those sort of contexts as well. So it isn't like a build around win condition like the others are, but again, with Hydra being super good, which spoiler alert, it is, like, just having the cheeky Roger on top, again, it requires a lot less setup than Mandala does. Like, it mills the same as Mandala having 2 Nexuses. And if you're playing Hydra, they're gonna want to kill your Hydra Nexus, so it could have its place. Beldegor target as well. It's got potential.
what do you think of the card, Caleb?
I think, unfortunately, it'll probably be overshadowed by Hydra. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think once we get the initial phase of the Hydra and we know how to beat it and whatnot, then I think, you know, you can definitely explore a lot of blue options, right?
Let's just put Hydra into S tier right now.
Oh, right.
'cause
There we go.
it's not there, but it
It's my
is
card,
now.
easy. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so, I mean, Roger, it's an interesting card, right? I mean, yeah, milling 6 is really good, right? And then, did you say that there's a way to bounce it too, back to your hand?
Yeah, so there's a 6-drop white Mecha Spirit from set 1, where when it's summoned, it bounces all spirits with 3k or fewer BP. So that includes your own stuff as well, so you can recur it that way. It was an old school trick to bounce, you know, your Cavaliers and stuff.
Valkyrie
like that.
Mist and stuff like that is really good with as well,
Yeah.
isn't it? For bouncing.
Oh, that's
those
really
kind of
cool.
things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll see play. Whether that's in Mandala, it's gonna be tough to say. I mean, milling 6 is, you know, no joke. You know, like, seriously.
Yeah, it's rough.
And then it's what, second fact. You can basically cheat levels. I mean, it's pretty good.
I think, like, one thing that really cares about this card is kind of just how the meta goes. Like, I've not tested too many games to set 4, but like, I feel like all the decks that performed really good at Worlds are, I'm not gonna say dead now, but like, they are a lot worse. Like, I think Smag decks are really slow now in the current meta. The meta is really fast now. I think the Mandala stall decks don't work really as much anymore. Like, the meta is kind of really fast paced. I think mono decks are really gonna just start proving themselves a bit stronger. So I think Roger might be a bit too slow, but we'll see.
Alrighty, so we'll move on to the next one. Gonna go kind of random here. We're gonna go with Mecholossus Jutengrim.
The
Where,
one.
where are we putting
Say
this
that
at,
3
me?
times fast.
Yeah.
Say that 3 times fast right now. Let's
Mecholossus Jutengrim. I can't.
There's some crazy names on this set. I think it's a good segue actually, because as Kieran said, is the probably the meta is gonna you know, speed up, and in that we will see probably the rise of more tempo / aggressive decks, and Jotungrim, as we'll call it from now on, or MJ. We'll call it MJ.
MJ, yeah.
Is on the Android archetype that has, you know, the Valkyries and has this new you know, bouncy, very annoying cards.
What tier would you
also
put it
being
in?
white,
What
which
tier
I
would you put it
understand
in?
is
Because I'm floating.
Caleb's
over
first
the tier. So
I'll
which...
give it A.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give it A.
Perfect.
Straight up. Because Caleb, would you say white is your favorite color? And would you also put this card in A?
Yeah, let me. So okay, so his armor.
Yeah.
So this is probably more of like a tempo card, right? It's definitely. I think right now we're gonna have to see how the meta shapes up, but not having armor blue is kind of a drawback for me. But like, this card's pretty good. I mean, it's literally a Yeah, I mean it's literally a dream bomb on the body. I mean,
He's a Turbo Rex essentially.
Exactly, yeah.
And
But more tempo, like because yeah, like this meta is gonna be seriously like really fast, right? Due to Hydra. So like yeah, like even like the ramp decks, they're gonna have to change, right? Like they're gonna have to be more of like what TD was playing, more Nova, Ira, and stuff like that, like trying to kill you. Like you won't be able to play like my type of list where it's like really like just like white control, right? Basically, like you're gonna have to beat them fast, basically. You can't let the Hydra player just take their time.
yeah, and I think
go on.
yeah, this really like enables a lot of plays with I guess like there's a lot of like new cards like the Red Eric, which is another android that also sends to bottom of the deck, and like there's high reduction, like this like 2-cost spirits essentially on full reduction that really make the game like much faster. I think where white lacks is definitely the ramp, so I think I don't know if like a mono white tempo is gonna be that competitive, but we'll see. I just love the card. I think maybe A is a bit too generous. We can leave it in B with Roger, but I don't know.
I think
demoted.
I think the problem with the Valkyrie deck is like they're all single symbols, which Ira just comes down and nukes your whole board. Like the other Valkyrie, which I know we're going to cover, is also single spirit that combos with the Mechalossus. So the whole deck is just single spirit. Because I think Frost Tiger's Machine Beast. I mean, it is androids as well.
Yeah, it is Android as well. So I mean, should we put the Frost Tiger in A tier? Just because we don't really need to discuss it. Everyone knows what it does.
Yeah.
I mean, having armor blue and armor white is very, very good in this meta.
It gets over the Hydra as well. I mean, it also gets over the Hydra, right? I believe it's at 14.
I'll take it in S tier.
Yep.
Like
Hydra is 13, right?
Yeah, but
Yes.
Hydra can easily be boosted, obviously, with Strong Draw and Seabed Lighthouse, for example. But obviously, having something that's over the base is, pretty helpful. And the fact that, I mean, Armor Blue is kind of irrelevant, I think, for Frost Tiger because it's got 2 symbols anyway, right? So. No, wait.
Hydra can pop.
Hydra goes through 2 symbols, doesn't it? Is it Ira that Ira doesn't pop 2 symbols?
Yeah, Ira gets blocked off.
My
yeah.
bad. Yeah,
I think Tiger's actually S tier. Like, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Really, I think it's going to be the card to stop Hydra, or one of them at least, one of the main.
It can definitely deal with the Ira and the Hydra, right? So like it's kind of like a dual threat.
That when summoned or block effect is annoying. Like everything goes to the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, 5k or less, isn't it? Two targets. But
that's right.
That is kind of obscene, really.
As we know, there is a funny like little meme thing where you can ascend over Mecha Wing Duck and you can play it like turn 2, turn 3. But if you do, that second effect will continuously ramp you up a core. So if you do get it down really early on, it can just swing the whole game.
Yeah, Dimensional Rift as well, like Bing Bang Bong. It's a target for that.
Derm, Dyna, Unblockable, 2 symbols.
Yeah, like, it's nasty. Yeah. It's nasty.
Dyna still.
And it has 2 symbols, right? So.
Yep.
And the best armor is white, right? Because you can't. Like,
can't
the only
dream bomb
removal in this game is either purple or it's like bounce, right? So.
Pretty much,
It can get deadly balanced.
Yeah.
So
it can definitely get deadly balanced.
All right, so
people avalanche everywhere.
Double Deadly S tier, let's go.
Well, actually, unfortunately, Double Deadly only hits 1 symbol.
Well, now we're here on Double Deadly. Caleb, do you want to talk about this card for us?
Yes, because I am the best purple player there is.
I mean, you don't need to be a purple. You don't need to be a purple player to see the weight of this card, really, though.
This card is going to be very disgusting.
Would you say it's A or S tier?
I would say it's A. It would be S tier if it was 2 symbols. I think actually, I'm almost positive if this card didn't have that restriction of 1 symbol, I'm pretty sure every deck would be playing this card.
Absolutely, yes.
But with the 1 symbol, I think you can play it in your decks, but you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to think about it more. Definitely for sure you're gonna put it in your purple decks, but I would have it as A.
For sure.
I think A is good.
I mean, if people are swinging with Hydra and they've got 3 things on board, if you play double Deadly and then Deadly Balance straight after, that's a very nice way to wipe. Very cost effective. It would only cost you 3 cores, and I feel like it's a really, really good card for stemming the Hydra.
One thing to know about it, by the way, and it has come up in testing, is it is a flash effect only compared to Deadly Balance, where it's main and flash, and the difference is with double Deadly you actually have to pop something. You can't just play it for free.
Yeah.
Which is very important, because that's one. I guess that's one thing that takes it down a bit. That it can be played around. Like if your board gets cleared before the battle step, then you're in trouble, really, if you're relying on it. So,
having said that, though, the value for it is insane, and like self-destroy purple was already pretty good, and there are plenty of times throughout the first year of Battle Spirits where you're like, damn, if I could run 8 Deadly Balance in my deck, it'd be amazing with all the things to destroy off it. So double Deadly is one to keep an eye on, for sure. Now you can, indeed.
All right, so we're gonna go next to we're gonna talk about Dustworm Drought Dragon.
Awesome. Let's go.
Where's this card going, Kieran? This brilliant card.
I think I would say it goes in A right now.
I'd agree. I've played against it, and when it's played for 3 cores, it's kind of like what? What? I mean, like, what just happened?
I say A, but like, there's a weird world depending how the meta shifts. Like post, like, because Hydra is like the new Highlands, right? Everyone's gonna like just play out the gate and play an absolute crap ton, and then people kind of stop playing like actual stuff. And I think the thing about what I like about Dustworm is I love my little rainbow piles, and Dustworm is like that kind of card that bridges all the ascends into like one big rainbow deck. Because he goes down to costing 3 for any single color once you reach that 3 life requirement. And I mean, the when something's great, like popping a 5k is really good, but he lets you ascend into like, I mean, anything that needs a big body like Seagworm. It's even a big body for the I mean, just any ascend that needs an ascend, right? Like, he's such a good card. I just think he's such a value card, right? Like, he reminds me of Andromeda a tiny bit. Just that he doesn't pop the Nexus, but he pops a 5k range. But
do you think
he's really interesting?
Do you think he's meta defining? Do you think like he pushes Star Dragons up, or is Star Dragons going to sit in the same kind of like a high skill ceiling based position that it is in now? Because people can be successful with Star Dragons strictly, as we've seen.
Yeah, I think Star Dragon's become a lot more just kind of streamlined. Like, the deck is just now kind of just like Gray, Ira, Dustworm, big body guys, which is fine. But you do see some people, like amazing players, pick up the deck and just kind of do crazy things with it. Will Dustworm be meta defining? Probably not. But it could be a key card in the future. Like, you just can't forget about this card now. Like, you put your opponent to 3 life, you think everything's fine, and Dustworm just comes down and gets you for like crazy value.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think of Dustworm and Star Dragons in general, Caleb?
I think they're not bad. It's just like, I think there's like better shells for the Ira. Like, basically it's gonna be like, who can build the best Ira Nova deck, if that's kind of where you want to go with. I mean, actually, I actually don't know, honestly. It could be Star Dragons, it could be Ramp. It really just depends. I mean, if you're gonna play it, you'll probably play this card, because I mean, going to 3, it's pretty easy, and then it gets 3/5 reduction, so it only costs 3 just to bring out a 5k, and then you get a kill a card. That's pretty good. I mean,
yeah, and the fact that
I'd play it.
Yeah, I think it's a good card. I've played against it in testing, and it was fairly obnoxious, to be honest. And the Ascend is really, really good for Seagworm Nova. To get that life back up without so much investment is really powerful. So,
and also it has Awaken. So I mean, we're starting to get more and more Awakens. I mean, eventually we're gonna have an Awaken deck here. Awaken's strong.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, especially if you go red with Ancient Draw, like that card is just
broken. Yeah, that card's crazy.
5 costs 3 reduction, so for 2 you draw 2 cards, then reveal 3 cards, and you get all the spirits with Ascend.
I will say, in testing though, I tested against that card as well, and they whiffed every time except for one time. They got one extra card. But
we need to adjust the ratios and everything, but like in the best case scenario where you pay 2 and draw 5 cards, that's just insane. And you don't even need all that value. And also in Flash gives 5,000, which is like good battle trick. Like that card is just like too good. I think it just goes
very true.
I think for sure in those red decks, I think you just play Ancient Draw instead of a Strong Draw.
Where would you put Ancient Draw? Would you put it at S tier then? Do you think, or
not S tier?
I guess
that's only for Hydra and Ira, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll stick higher there for now.
It's not better than Starblast Draw, is it, Emmy?
which is definitely an S tier card, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is to be limited soon.
I think it just depends, because it's gonna be like it's gonna help make your deck stronger, right? So it kind of depends, like how many Ascends are people playing. Like that's why in my Hydra deck I'm playing. I was playing 7 to 8 Ascends, right? So I had Ancient Draw instead of Starblast just to try it out, and I mean it seems to be doing pretty decent.
The stat buff is pretty good as well. Like 5k on something can come really clutch.
Yeah. So and the cards, do the cards go to the bottom of the deck that for Ancient Draw? Is it, or it's not into the drop? I guess that would be ridiculously OP, to be fair. But yeah, so we better keep moving because we're about halfway now. So I'm gonna grab the. Is it my turn? I think it's my turn, isn't it? I'm gonna grab Pollen. Pollen, I'm gonna put in A tier for now because she's not proven yet, but I think she's a really, really, really good card for all colors. If you don't know what she does, when she's played, her on summoned, you reveal the top 5 cards and you place without paying its cost a Nexus of any color. So that sounds like it's, a bit sort of high rolly, but if you're running a sort of Nexus based deck, it's very, very good. And you can also use the mill to your advantage by using recursion, because obviously blue has stuff like Rock Golem and Deep Walker, one of the new cards that if you ascend into Deep Walker, you place a Nexus from your drop for free. And also, the age-old card that a lot of people have used, Impaler Forest, really powerful. So if you play Pollen accidentally, well, it's not really an accident at this point, but if you play Pollen turn 1 and you mill Hydra and your Impaler Forest, you just play the Impaler Forest, and then next turn you're guaranteed to have Hydra in hand. So that's a powerful combination in itself. And I think once people really see the potential of Pollen, especially for similar style decks to like what everyone's been using with Smaug, I think it's just going to be a very handy card for consistency, especially for players that like recursion, like Harry, for example, is very keen on bringing stuff back from the dead and cycling. I just think she's a great card. Any of you guys got any thoughts on it? I know Harry, you've expressed a bit of interest in this card.
One thing to say is so there was a proxy play tournament which we'll cover a bit later over the weekend, and Andrew played this card in his deck, and I think he played the card 4 times and ended up milling 5 ice shields. So there's a counterpoint for you, because sadly the other cards do go into the drop.
Absolutely. You're definitely at risk. Don't get me wrong.
Just don't play Ice Shield. It's fine.
I mean, if you
have all the Ice Shields on the bottom of your deck,
you could
back them down.
It could get you into the Ice Shields faster, right?
I guess if you want to like spend a lot, you could play Clavis as well. So that way you could bring back any magic you need on top of it. You bring back the magic with that. The Nexus is with Impaler, and then blue has its own sort of. Blue does the Nexus, but obviously Impaler putting cards on
Clavis
top of the
starting to
deck.
sound like a crazy
8 cost
person.
spell now as well. So like Clavis, Apollum, Impaler Forest, Happy Days deck. You never know.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then and then Hydra comes down turn 3 and just.
oh yeah. Well, that's the
No,
thing
I've
is,
sacked all my spirits off board before the Hydra comes down.
that's the thing is, you just play Hydra as well, so you're in that boat, you know. But
Yeah.
what
I think one thing that
Go
Collins
on.
taught me about battle spirits is like cards that have this kind of effect where they are Gamba effect and then the remaining cards go into the drop zone or the bottom of the deck. If you end up putting an Ice Shield to the bottom of your deck or your drop zone, it can be just devastating. Like, because the game is still Ice Shield centric, right? Like that's just not changed and it's not going to change.
I
Not sure
feel-
how you feel about that.
I feel like Ice Shield's weakened a bit now because of all the double symbol stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's still really good, but
It's weakened but more relevant, kind of.
Yeah.
I guess.
Which is
you have
weird.
to you have to trigger it a lot earlier than you would have ever before.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm still kind of learning the balance of how to use it. I think it's definitely.
I think where this card comes into play the best, like just from like looking at it, not that much testing, is actually yellow. Because
Yeah.
I think personally for me, yellow, I don't really care if I ditch the ice shields. I mean, the deck's basically playing 8, right? Thorn Prison and that. So and they're gaining all that life. Like I was like just doing test hands. I wasn't actually playing it, but like I had 2 to 3 nexuses like every single time with pollen. So I think there's pollen and yellow is some people might want to test play with that as well.
Yeah, I mean that's.
You heard it first.
Yeah, I mean she's just the fact that she places any color nexus for free is really great. Like
Yeah, it's so
you know
good.
what I mean? It's super powerful, and it can be played turn 1 if you go second. So
And
really good
I
card.
don't think anyone brought this up, but also now that the meta, at least in my head, at least the meta is going to be more like with Beldegors and stuff due to Hydra. I mean, Pollen mills the Beldegors, so
Yeah, exactly.
that's also really good.
Yeah,
Also, that second effect's really decent, by the way. I know we haven't really talked about it, but like being able to just swing and then unexhaust yourself is actually really relevant at times.
yeah, very very potent. To be fair.
Well, very very important in this like tempo meta, you know.
Yeah.
Where like we need a kill, right? You have
Yeah.
to beat them.
I think she's a card that's going to become more and more relevant as people kind of discover the good uses with her, really. But yeah, we'll move on. Next, we'll talk about. Oh, I think for me, this is one of the best cards in the new set. The Bark Maiden. I can't. I don't want to guess how to pronounce that. Emmy, do you want to?
Lucerium?
All the cards.
The
you can't
Lucerium?
pronounce.
Lucerium, I guess is yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Bark
Yeah.
Maiden Lucerium. Yeah.
There you go.
Talk to me about this card, Emmy.
Yeah, just briefly, because I really want to know what Caleb thinks about it. Because essentially, another ramp, early game ramp option is good to see extras that cost like very low. I don't know why, but I like that. I like early game bosses, if you will. And yeah, when the spirits attacks, ramps a core on a leaf kindred or a nexus that costs 3 or fewer, and level 2 with 3 cores at 5k when destroyed, which is not when destroyed by opponent, which I think is relevant. You may summon a spirit that costs 5 or fewer from your hand without paying its cost. I think the best place for this spirit is probably outside of green. There's so many other like combos with other colors to bring 5 costs or fewer than green, but also definitely in green will be relevant. That being said, I think is an A tier, and I would also add a huge asterisk when we do this tier list is for now, right? Because all these takes are for now, kind of caveat, because remembers mag, right? But yeah, Caleb, what do you think about this card?
When I first glanced at it, I actually didn't really like it. But I'm like starting to understand like the uses for it, right? Like the level 2, it's good against Hydra, good against Ira, so they can basically never, not never, but it's gonna be harder for them to get through, right? So if you're using it as that, I think it's pretty good. But like if you're trying to like just ramp with it and then have a good second effect, I'm not sure. It's gonna be a card I'm gonna have to play test with. I think. At least for me, like just like looking at it, like first glance, I didn't like it. But then when I kept like thinking about it more and more, I definitely I can see the uses of it. I'm gonna need to play test with it for sure.
Honestly, in green, it's like it shouldn't be slept on either. It's some of the 5-cost green cards being played in the battle step with their on summons. It's really really potent. Yeah, I was absolutely astounded about how powerful the card was when I played against it. To be honest, I was like, I read it and then I saw that you can play any 5 costs, no color restriction. I was like, I need 4 copies of that immediately, basically.
Yeah,
because
no, it's definitely A tier. When I first saw the card, I was like, maybe it's like a B, maybe C. I don't know. And then and everyone's like, no, dude, like this is like this is so good.
dumb,
it's like
such a dumb card. Yeah.
No color restriction, and you don't have to pay the cost. Like it's just the 2 best things.
And yeah, you're basically getting
the chords immediately onto the thing that it summons. So like it can cheat out Smag, and then you put the 3 chords that were on this onto the Smag, so you get the ramp. Like it's really cheap.
I mean, there's so many cards that you can play out for nothing, and just that tempo of playing a bigger card, early is really really strong on top of everything else.
See, the more I talk about this card with other people, it's like, yeah, okay, we'll just move this to S tier.
I mean, honestly, I think
It's not quite that good.
I think we might be surprised by the end of the season. It could be one of the top cards for early game because it's also a 5k with 3 cores, which isn't like awful, to be honest, as an early game defender. So yeah, I think that card's got serious amounts of potential, and I'm worried about playing into it, to be honest. I don't want to play against it. So.
Oh, for sure.
All right, so we'll move on because we're gonna go for Tyrannus, which is 6-cost double symbol with Ascend. Obviously, all the colors have this, but Kieran wanted to pick this one in particular. Where would you put these cards tier wise? Because I feel like they're being slept on a bit. Not many people are talking about them too much. Obviously, Caleb just said he's using multiple Ascends in his deck, but where would you put them?
I would have said before actually testing and like revealing, I would have said like B or C on paper, but like actually like testing them, I actually want to put them like, I don't know if all of them are, because obviously some are better than others in colors and sub attributes, but the majority I say go in A.
Wow, okay.
Because like the thing is, they are still like double symbol cards at the end of the day, and they come down quite fast, some of them. Some of the attributes are relevant, but the reason why I picked the green one is because I'm trying to make green work. I love green, and green's always kind of the harder color to make work in certain formats, it feels like. And I don't think it's like in the best spot going into the new set. But I've been testing this kind of like tempo green kind of list, and it just relies on like tapping down your opponent's board and swinging. And one thing like the deck was really missing was like that finisher power, because it was all like single spirit stuff. And then I realized, like, I'm ramping with like the new Mantingale, the new like Work Ant-Man, Bark Maiden. Let me just like, I'm gaining all these cores to put myself on the same level as my opponent. Because like, the thing about ramp to realize is like when you swing and you ramp one, you're basically staying on the same core count, which is so huge in Battle Spirits. Like because the whole point is your opponent takes damage they're ahead of the game. But then you're generating so many cores, you can just ascend into Tyrannus, for example, and just kind of go like from there.
I mean,
it's actually stronger.
If you've ramped up, doing damage isn't such a concern for you either, is it? Because you're ahead in that department already.
Precisely.
So, yeah.
It's why Worker Ant-Man tempo decks were really, really big in PT2 format, because they were just kind of huge, like the potential of them. So like I wouldn't sleep on any of these 2-cost symbol cards, and also they do just sit and they dodge like double delay as well, and they dodge Iroh more specifically. Like they are quite relevant, and you could just sometimes get killed by them, by the way. So like
obviously
that's something to think about. But some of them are kind of interesting. Like the red one is Pterosaur, the yellow one is Overlander, the purple one is a Serpent, the blue one's a Golem. So like there are some really relevant attributes behind them.
How relevant do you think Ira, defending against Ira will be in this upcoming meta?
Massive. Yeah. I think it'd be massive. Yeah.
Pivotal.
Yeah, having two symbols is very key.
One thing I've learned about this set is because of so much removal with like Hydra and Ira, you're playing from hand on an empty board a lot of the time in this meta, and one that makes Nexuses more important than ever before. But cards that can just stick around post Ira are just insane. Like,
yeah,
they're good to go. Also, you can ascend with a Pollen.
They're also like mana discount as well. It isn't just damage. So what the red one, because it's a Pterosaur, it fully discounts Gigano. Is that how that works?
It counts as 4. Yeah, each symbol counts as 2.
Nice.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, because you get double reduction, right?
That's tell me some worlds Giganos, Caleb.
That's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie, actually, that's quite fun.
So yeah. Overall, don't sleep on these cards is what I'll say. I don't know how you feel about them, Caleb. You said you've been testing the blue one in the Golem deck.
Yeah. I was testing the blue one. I know Andrew played it in the tournament. He said he really liked it. Like I said, I unfortunately haven't really been playing too much. I've just been brewing, having fun with it. Just haven't gone full on testing yet. But I think they're definitely, at least in theory wise, gonna be really good. Like you said, it because it prevents itself from Ira from dying, doubly deadly, doubly deadly.
Say it 3 times, Caleb.
Doubly deadly. But yeah, I do think the green one's gonna be really good, especially with all the exhausting, right? Especially the other one that what is it called? Divine Bird Tokiwa.
Oh yeah, rest everything on play.
Yeah, rest everything, right?
Yeah,
so, I think green is naturally gonna be good. I think blue is also not bad because you have a lot of because it says ascend 4 or more, and most of your cards are pretty much 4 or higher. Unless you could be playing shark and whatnot, but most of your cards are basically 4 or more, so it works out really well in that type of deck, and it's kind of doing what you want to do, right? Just swing with double symbols.
I think the white one's probably the worst one. For the deck, for the color it's actually given into. But maybe I'll be surprised and white tempo, white aggro finds a way to shove it in and go from there, because you can ascend over the Valkyrie Mist, right?
I quite like the yellow one as well. Hasn't it got the ascend target where you draw when you ascend using it as well?
Draw 2, the cake, yeah.
Eat mast. Eat me cake.
And ascend get you over it afterwards as well.
What if we just play all the double symbols in one deck?
Yeah,
play
and just
play ancient draw, play the yellow 4 drop, or just draw 2 cards.
Caleb, stop telling them the spice. That's our spice, man. God.
It's just gonna be a rainbow, just double
That's our pre-season deck.
Yeah, if someone tops with that, get in touch and we'll do a profile, because that would be hilarious.
That'd be awesome.
All right,
so
we
cool.
we need to move rapid because we're running out of time here, and we got multiple. So I'm going to go on to Horned General Tricera Warrior, quite the quadruple-barreled name. Where we put in this pterosaur / dragonoid.
Yes, like Emmy with Pokemon TCG, I didn't know it existed until earlier today, but now I am completely besotted with it. I'll put it in A, to be honest. I think it's good. I think it's deceptively good, and totally not, because I think that Dino Man will get hit at some point when the next ban list drops. But even so, it's just really solid. Applies a lot of pressure really quickly. Obviously, they learned from Dino Man by not giving it the mad stats during their turn as well, which is where Dino Man is probably most relevant. But still, just getting quick confront down is really difficult, and it's really hamstrung Pterosaur, Emperor Beast, that archetype a fair bit. It just seems very solid for what it is, a good sort of early mid game creature, and I think Pterosaur in general does get a lot of glow up in this set, as discussed before. The 6-drop double symbol is a Pterosaur. It's a 1-core 5k as well, which is extremely relevant. Some of the other ones are only 1-core 4ks. So Gigano can come down super quickly again, not as quick as when we had beautiful Oviraptidon in the
rest in peace.
Hand, but,
rest in peace.
Still, yeah, maybe not like you wouldn't expect this to be an X rare. Like it feels a bit more like a rare, but still, just getting quick 7k confront on board. If they're a deck that doesn't want to be attacking you, like you're just gonna decimate their board long before you get the Gigano down. And then if they do manage to deal with this, then you should have enough materials at your disposal in order to get the Gigano down. So, yeah, I mean, it's playable. It's playable for sure, and Terra should be pretty good. So
I would like
I'm
to see.
happy
I would
with
like
it,
to see the dinosaurs come back. Honestly, it's a shame that they've been completely gone from the meta since the one cost vanilla was removed from the equation. But I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it was a hard deck to balance, really. What do you think, Caleb?
And Nexus Hazard as well is just such a strong
yeah,
card.
that
Like
card
with
is-
Ovi in the game, just like 4 Nexus Hazard in every Pterosaur deck was just completely obscene. Now it's a bit fairer where you have to like scale up into it. But yeah.
Caleb, quick thoughts on this card before we move on.
Yeah, so quick thoughts. So it's only during your turn. I think the meta's gonna be too fast for this because I think sorry, just trying to go faster. So I think confront's gonna be worse, and I think yeah, the thing that's holding it back is during your turn. So it's gonna be what, like 4k realistically on your opponent's turn, and then if they're playing red, they can just easily kill it. I think it's not bad though. I mean, like it just depends how the meta develops, but I just think confront won't be as good. Seeing as how I think a lot of people are gonna be attacking.
I think we're like not considering like the best effect, which is you swing and they cannot dream bomb whatever you're swinging with.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
that is also very good. Yeah.
Like obviously like the best case scenario is like you have like this huge spirit that swings, you have an elephant, Harry, that you love elephant, you swing with elephant, you're just like easy, it's not gonna be dream bombed and I can refresh everything. So I think like I agree on the confront, maybe like not being like the best thing ever, although I'm a fan, but just the like protection on dream bomb is crazy to me.
I think
like,
your Dream Bomb example was missing the best part, Emmy, where Dream Bomb is really important because everyone's playing double symbol cards that do double damage now. So you can swing Tricera and then swing Ira, and they can't Dream Bomb your Ira. GG, maybe, you know?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean that's
Dream
that
Bomb
is super cute.
Ira first.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
yeah, you swing with the Hydra first, and then if they dream bomb your
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, you don't have to swing with him. You just swing with the Ira first or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forms a very nice complement with Dynaman, I think, because Dynaman disincentivizes those early swings so much, and then it's just easy to follow up with this. And
If they play Dynaman turn 1, you play Spirit, they play this, you're molding. Like
yes, that is a bad time for sure. All right, so let's move on. We've got 3 more cards before we finish up here. So I'm going to go next, and it's Rearing Angel Material. I think it's Material, actually. But yeah, no, I'm going to put her in B tier. 2 costs. They do have some pretty rough cards to deal with in this set, like the new Raging Tide card. That card I feel like single-handedly demolishes this deck if you're trying to go wide. But yeah, essentially she gives 2 cost luster at the beginning of the start step, which I don't know. It's just a fun premise, really. You can do sort of turbo Michaela, try and get lots of magic into your hand, and just start wreaking havoc. Really, there's a few nice cards that go with this as well, like Macaroni Pentan, a bit of recursion. She's also got the ability where you discard a 2 cost, I think, and pick up a magic, or that might be another angel in the set. But yeah, there's just a new angle on luster. I love luster.
That's the one. Yeah, when you attack.
Yeah, so when you attack, you can discard a 2 cost to grab a magic back. So if your 2 costs with luster do get taken out and you lose your magic, you have a way of quickly grabbing that back. So yeah, it's just, it might have a potential to be really higher than B tier, but early doors, I think this, yellow small things is definitely gonna suffer. But yeah, good fun anyway.
Why is it
well,
start?
Also like because what's that new blue card called?
I think it's
Raging
I
Tide.
think
Raging Tide.
yeah, Raging Tide. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the one I was talking about first, which is just a punish card
Yeah.
for this. But I think it's start step, Kieran, because it would be super broken if it was the start of attack step, because you could play like
I
eight
don't think
things.
it would be.
What if you could?
I think I think she sucks because like your 2 costs have to survive the opponent's turn, and then so you have to have the 2 costs on the field already and her on the field already,
and you
then
have to deal with a whole turn of your opponent's turn. Yeah. It is.
Yeah,
it-
everyone was like freaking out about this card, but then they like, as card game players do, we have to read the card, and then it's like,
Yeah.
doing your start stuff. Because I like when I first saw it too, I was like, wait, during your attack stuff, like this is
Yeah, same.
nuts.
that's
why I thought,
that's why I'm saying it's more of a fun card. The
Yeah.
possibilities are fun. I don't think it's going to be a viable like meta defining card. Although it
it's
is.
such good artwork.
Yeah. I mean, gotta love the booba. But yeah, we'll move on from there. On that note,
Wait, during your I don't know, does it have to? I don't think you need. I think just she needs to survive, right?
yeah,
It's
but if
not a 2 cost, right?
yeah, but the
The
2
2
costs have to be on
the
board to be
get the
affected.
roster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's-
at the start of the step, the 2 cost gain luster for the
geez,
turn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
I see now. Okay.
It's
So-
miserable.
It is kind of sad, but I mean, I don't
The
know.
artwork's really good, right?
It'll be
Like,
it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It's
All
a
right,
valid thing.
I'll put it in
Give-
C
give
tier. I'll put it in
Ultra
C
Luster.
tier. I'll put it in C tier, so we get a bit of
Yeah.
a spread going.
It's fine. Longdow is gonna win an event with this, and then
Yeah, and then it'll be A tier. But yeah, so we got 2 more, and 2 minutes of time. So, Grey Servant of Siegworm.
Okay, yes, this is mine. I think it's gonna be either probably B.
Okay.
I think it'd be B. Great. So it's kind of nice that maybe this won't come up very often, but you can kill a Nexus if you need to. I just like how it's like in the ramp deck or red deck or whatever deck you want to play this in. I think this just supplements it so well, because you can be at like 2-3 life. You just plop it down, and then you can go either Ira, or you can go Nova, right? Nova heal back, or an Ira clear board. So it just opens up a lot of things. It's basically just like a big bang energy on a body, right? So
Yeah.
and most of these decks aren't gonna
goodness
be
it's
going too crazy.
thank goodness it's
Oh,
only an ancient dragon, because if it was a star dragon, I think that would actually be.
You can do doubly PvE.
Yeah, I mean, just it's
And you can search as well. Like you will be able to search. What's that? I think Harry was super high on
and
that card.
Andrometeus from the
Yes.
starter deck. Yeah,
That's actually.
I love
good.
that card. I love that card as
Okay,
well.
yeah, right.
Reveal the top 3, pick a star dragon to hand, and I mean it's still pretty good in this this meta potentially. I don't really know.
Going into the Ira, the 10 cost, right? Like it would work with that. It has Ascend, the Grey Seagworm.
Oh wow.
It could be something to just keep an eye on. Like Ira caught a lot of people out inside decks, like PT2 for example. Longdow sided it in his yellow deck and just blew people out with the random Ira. We're moving away from the 4K sort of range, I think, but yeah, definitely one to keep an eye
Yeah,
on.
we're definitely creeping up to 5K. That's for sure. You're seeing a lot more kind of 5Ks, level 1s and stuff.
Andrometeus is actually insane now, because you can actually ascend Ira on him, so you can just attack search, and then next turn you just ascend. Sorry.
The thing that always held Andrometeos back was the fact it was only a 2-core 4K. Like its effect was always very reasonable. But yeah, its stats are just a bit mid for something.
Honestly,
that
when
wants to be attacking.
I was learning the game, that was literally one of my favorite cards. I really enjoyed just basically a full on Star Dragons deck, and just trying to get into that Nova, taking life on purpose to ramp back up and stuff. It was good fun.
Ascend into Turbo Rex to force you to attack me into Big Bang
Yeah,
range.
I mean,
was so spicy.
I wasn't that smart then. I was a basic boy. I was just like, get my Star Dragons out, Big Bang when I'm on 1 life. Play my whole hand, and then probably lose anyway.
Also, sending back to the deck instead of discarding, now that I think mill strategies and Mandala will be played even more, it's not a bad thing. Like,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Kieran was saying, yeah, you bottom deck your ice shield, you cry, but especially in this Star Dragon where you can heal back to 5, you know, it's not the worst thing ever if you can like play a card that makes you go faster.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like ice shields aren't saving you from being milled out, are they? So, like, all right. So we're on to our last card, and that is Valkyrie Kalista.
Yeah, so I would put this in A tier, for sure. I mean, because like most of the direction of like the white deck seems to be going with like basically the Valkyries. And I mean, this card just reads really good, right? I mean, giving all your creatures like red, white, and blue. I mean, first off, go America, But second, second
Fuck
off,
yeah!
I mean, like,
That was on purpose for sure.
That's the only reason you picked this card, isn't it? So you could be patriotic.
Yep.
Stream cancelled.
Well, that, and also, I mean, I do think the best decks are going to be red, and they're going to be blue, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least in the the first couple
in the
weeks,
early,
or,
yeah,
at the very least.
they're definitely the
against
easiest.
Dream Bomb.
They're definitely the easiest to build, right? Building around
Exactly.
Hydra and Ira, it seems very simple.
So that seems to be the most important armor for me. So basically, that's just like so good, right? Just giving all your creatures that, and then its second effect is like kind of like a Durham Dyna. Basically, I'm going to read it. So it says, during your attack step, this spirit and your spirits with a soul core on them cannot be blocked by spirits of the colors specified in any armor effect they possess. So that just is super good.
Really, really, really potent.
Yeah, and then also you can put the soul core on Frost Tiger, right? If you're playing Frost Tiger, and then, I mean, you're swinging for 2. They're not going to be able to ice shield that. They can't dream bomb it. They're gonna have to. They can't doubly deadly. They're gonna have to
doubly.
They're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. They're gonna have to core theft it, or they're gonna have to deadly balance.
Yeah.
So.
Well, maybe purple removal is going to be. Purple might be the sleeper in this format, like early on, trying to hard counter all these big guys.
They have the best. They have the best removal. That's for sure.
Yeah, they also got a flash speed curse now, which is gonna be a nightmare, I think. Give curse on flash, it's crazy, I think.
Yeah, that's...
Curse has to be at the start of the combat battle.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it on flash?
No. The spell is, but the way curse is, you have to have curse before.
Yeah. It goes pending on swing and then resolves in the end step. Yeah.
Wow.
Good thing we told everyone that before the event in which anyone would know that.
But yeah,
the card's really good, guys. Play it.
Yeah, amazing. But yeah, no. So that concludes our tier list, guys. So just to recap, we have Hydra and Ira in S tier. I put the Tiger in there as well because I feel like he's the S tier counter. And then in A we have Doubly Deadly, Dustworm, Pollen, Bark Maiden, Kalista, the Horned General, and the 2 symbol cards. And then B tier we got Spike Knuckle Roger, Jotun Grim, Ancient Draw, and the Servant. And in C tier I've put my Rearing Angel Material that Kieran's hating on. I can see it in your face. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that seems about right for now.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's space for stuff to get better, but I think we've been pretty fair. Like some stuff might go down, some stuff could go up into S tier. Only time will tell, really. But let's go back to the main screen and just have a little chat before we finish it.
Yeah, I think Kieran wanted to quickly go through the kind of set 4 final thoughts.
Yeah, I was gonna have because you got some results from the little tournament that happened the other day, right, Kieran? But yeah, I was gonna make a quick discussion point. The game is accelerating at the way the game is played is changing a lot moving into set 4, right? We've gone from a very open meta where you can be extremely creative and you're able to play slow. But now, in my view, the game is sped up a lot and it's become a lot more aggressive and stuff. Some people might see this as a negative, but what do you guys think? Do you like the way the game's being moved forward? Because in my opinion, it's becoming more like it's not as unique anymore. It's becoming more like the standardized sort of games and how they run with like overpowered meta cards leading the charge. But I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be better or worse moving forward?
People's biggest complaint is generally to do with time, and so like you can jig around the time rules as much as you want, but I think Occam's razor is just speed the game up a bit, and I don't think anything that's released has been that egregious. Like obviously Hydra and Ira stick out as being pretty powerful, but like Caleb said earlier, I think initially those cards will drive the format, but then I think people will adjust in various ways. And Battle Spirits is a game that we all love here on the pod because it allows you to play in a bunch of different styles. You can play aggro if you want to play aggro. You can play control if you want to play control. I think if you are a control player, you are still able to do that. But the general pace of the game quickening up in a way that isn't just, say, like, I think Caleb cited Hearthstone experience. You can recall times where it was like day one Demon Hunter or like just mad aggro hunter, and it's just toxic and difficult. This doesn't feel like that. So you know, I wouldn't say that I'm for it insofar as my own personal preference of playstyle, but I am for it as far as the community feedback and what people want. I think it's a good change.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I do worry about is having strategies like Hydra. The skill ceiling has kind of been lowered in a way. Because I think if you get a turn 3 Hydra, you basically win the game. I mean, that's basically how it's looking in testing, in my opinion. If you can get it out turn 3.
In my time, yeah, it feels like it's like a less toxic white aggro.
Yeah.
Like that's what it has me worried, because I think white aggro, it wasn't very fun to play. It didn't feel rewarding. Yada yada. This Hydra deck's pretty fun to play. So I expect more people to play this than they did white aggro. Even though I thought white aggro was never a bad choice, really.
But do you think having decks which are like, I hate to generalize this because it's not necessarily true, but having decks that are easier to pilot successfully, do you think it devalues what we necessarily love about the game? I know there's obviously always been decks like I have Fabled Beasts, for example, or Gigano Full Power. That, you know, these kind of decks were like very brain dead, almost like you could win even if you didn't draw too well necessarily. But Hydra
I don't think
seems
any Battle Spirits deck has been brain dead like that though. Like aggro white, as annoying as it is to play with and against, does still require a lot of skill. Like red at its most toxic element was relatively less skillful, but still required skill. Like I don't think a deck taking longer to do what it does is representative of it being more skillful. Like there are individual cards that can be argued for or against, but again, like with Hydra, it's in a color that isn't value generative, so you dream bomb the Hydra and then it's like, okay, I have to draw another shitty aberration to get this guy out somehow. It's like
obviously there's simple plays around.
We shouldn't do.
Go on.
Remember when we had Blandon on and it was doomsaying the Gale deck before it came out, and then it turned out to do very little. Like I don't think it's worth doomsaying it at this point. I think things will largely stay the same, but that's just
ban Smog.
People,
in my extensive testing, you have to ban that Smog. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, you definitely have the necessary qualifications to make that call.
Just to confirm, you were being ironic with that post, weren't you, or you genuinely think?
Yeah, I was definitely.
Yeah,
I was trolling him.
I hope so. Yeah.
I love trolling him. No, if I can say just twofold. So yeah, just really quickly. So the reason why we love the game so much is that we don't have color locked, right? Yeah. So theoretically, as long as like the game is balanced, we will never have a tier 0 deck that just stomps everything, right? Ideally, in a perfect world, because we can make any combination of cards to beat that deck.
Yeah.
So that's what I love the most about this game, right?
I think that's what potentially could be slipping away a little bit with the massive power creep that we're encountering. Essentially, I mean, I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. It's a hot take, but I think I do worry that the game's going to become less skill based and more. Did I draw Hydra?
I think one thing about the Hydra decks is it is very similar to the Gale situation, where like if you were testing Gale, it's like, oh, this deck's nuts, bro. I got 30 cores in turn 4, like, yeah. And cool, whatever. Fable Beast, best deck in format, doesn't even get top 16 at Worlds. Like in Battle Spirits, what we've seen is players can adapt. Like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if people are splashing Deadly Balance in a deck that has no purple reduction. You play turn 3 Hydra, that's good for you. You got nothing else on board. Deadly Balance.
Seabed Lighthouse immediately.
No, that was my other
point. Deadly Balance is also like a card that's just really strong. And like you're saying, like Seabed Lighthouse, like the thing is like the blue is also the non-advantage color, right? Like it does lack advantage. It loses out quite fast. I found in testing once one Hydra is dealt with, it slows down a lot. Burst Dream Bomb, by the way, if you want to get around Lighthouse in scenarios like that. I don't think it's a bigger problem. Like, and also I will say Battle Spirits is a really, really bad spectator game still. I've said this before in the past. Like, if you're someone watching the game, but Caleb, congrats on Worlds, but a 55-minute game one for a viewer, that did not make anyone want to play Battle Spirit. The part of you holding the check,
especially when you have side events that you're patiently waiting for, so you can win some fucking Worlds goodie.
Seeing Caleb hold the 50k check made players go, oh, there's money in that game. But watching a 55-minute game one, that didn't do it.
Yeah,
so I think the game does need to speed up. But,
yeah, no, I agree.
Hari made a really good point about control, like white control or just control. You can still do it. I think control is still a thing, but it's a more kind of aggressive form of control. Like, it's sped up a bit. I worry about Ira as a card in terms of I think it gatekeeps a lot of every single deck that came up before set 4 because of the single symbols. Like, I think if you're trying to play a single symbol deck, it's not going to go very well for you. That's what I worry about. But I think we're going to go in Hydra Town for like the next preseason. Then maybe after the preseason we'll innovate. But I think the person who develops the biggest like anti-Hydra strategy is probably going to be rewarded the most.
On that, before we... I mean, this will be the last point we do regarding set 4 stuff. Talk about some results, because we had a proxy battle that happened recently using all the new stuff. So do you want to take us through some of the tops real quick?
Yeah, but obviously shout out to the Absolute BSS guys. They ran a really awesome stream. I was watching it. It was really funny. Like, it was such a fun stream as well to watch. Good vibe. And honestly, the layout was really good. I really enjoyed. They had a ice shield used tracker, and I think that's the best thing ever. Like, just seeing how many ice shields people have been through. And obviously it counted as a mill as well. But yeah, so shout out to the Bulldog Community Gaming in Brownsburg, Indiana. For like actually hosting it. It was really cool to see. It was for those who don't know, it was a proxy play event, so you could turn up, bring proxies of set 4. I think there was 15 people in the event. 8 of the people brought proxies, so not everyone used them, but some people did. So congratulations to the Hungry Hydra deck. It took it. Hydra took it. Very interesting list, as you can see. Like running a few of the aberration cards that you probably wouldn't have thought saw play, like Night Gaunter and Bokruga. I've never seen that card in my life, and it came out last net. Really interesting list, and I think so it played 12 Nexuses, which I think is like the amount you probably play in Hydra. I think that's kind of right now the going amount.
12 is decent for sure.
Shout out to the Bark Maiden that was there. It came in clutch, I think, in one of the matches, and also like he's got the green totem pole Nexus. And also the thing to know about the Bark Maiden is it doesn't say it has to be a 3-cost green Nexus that she ramps onto. It's just any 3-cost Nexus. So as you can see in this deck, there's a lot of 3-cost Nexuses. But yeah, this list is very good. It's got the Dream Bombs, which you need in the meta. It's got the Allegro, which has in that tournament, Allegro was really huge and won some games by himself because the Hydra player would have run out of steam and just slam down an Allegro and swing like 3 times, pop in the board each time. The Totem Pole, for those who don't know that second effect, at level 2 during the attack step, if one of your Ascend cards gets blocked, but your Ascend card has higher BP than anything that blocks it, the the opponent just loses a life basically.
That's
as a
so
reserve.
greedy, man.
It's so
That is
good.
so
Yeah.
greedy.
It's so powerful, and they stack if you have multiples as well, and manage to have the
Yep.
cores to put on them.
Oh,
Like
jeez.
that's crazy.
And Hydra has that multi-attacking thing going on, right? So it's like
Yeah.
if you take it, you take
You
two.
can
If you
rate
don't,
it.
yep.
So good.
Yeah, because the rating doesn't have to be a blue Nexus specifically either. Like it was such a good tech, and I think people are gonna steal that. The sideboard was interesting. Cthulhu Shock makes sense, right? Punish people for
one-off,
misplaying.
though.
I mean, I love that card in
Yeah.
this deck. I mean, I'm no expert, but I main two in the deck I've been playing at the moment.
It's a good card, and then when Star Dragons burn their soul core, that Cthulhu Shock is just a board wipe every single time. It's beautiful.
The one thing I don't like about it is that it kills itself if you want to save something
Yeah.
on your own board. That kind of sucks.
You have to be a bit careful, but I guess it makes sense. But yeah, no, this list is really good. Congrats to him. So the finals was actually purple. A purple player got there as well. Not playing too many set 4 cards but he was just playing a few of them. But yeah, I mean, like that finals was really good. The purple player did massively brick it, like a 10-card hand and just no flash removal, which was punishing for him. But he only played 3 Deadly Balance and not 4, so maybe kind of deserved a little bit there. But no, very, very shout out to him as well, purple getting there. So yeah, there was a 3rd place Hydra as this, and then Smag got top 4 as well. So maybe Smag's not dead? ?
Ban Smag.
Ban Smag, we said it here. And I mean, with the lighthouse, right? Smag is maybe too broken. Ban him, get rid of him. Like we need less interaction. But yeah, so Fable Beast, Prey Birds, a red deck, and a bug deck also made top 8.
Cool. So
A bug deck?
Yeah, so there is a bug infinite loop attack deck in the game. It's like a 3-card combo.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, Josh, actually, I kind of want to mention this if I send it to you and you can pull it up again. So this deck.
Yeah, just send it to me on Discord if possible, please.
I sent it in the chat, but do you want me to send it to you in DM?
Yeah, because I don't have I don't have WhatsApp on my phone.
Oh no, it was the actual like Discord podcast chat, not the WhatsApp. But I sent it to you in DM.
That's fine. Yeah.
And I'll quickly explain this infinite loop. It's actually pretty fair play. Like.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good thing to teach people early, I think.
It's the kind of deck I would expect Hari to be playing, to be honest with you. Like just infinite loop. Like it's infinite loop Caraplay deck.
Is it? What's the combo? Can you explain it?
Yeah, I'll explain it when the.
It's on screen now. It's on screen.
Oh,
okay. All right. Are we ready to?
Yep. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So yeah, this deck is really, really interesting. It's a kind of infinite loop deck. It revolves around using Archduke King Taurus. When he attacks, he summons an Ant-Man token, which is pretty cool. And then you rely on the Great Alvar Plains, which is during your attack step at level 2, when one of your spirits with no effects listed is destroyed, you choose a spirit and you refresh it. So if you have 1, you're pretty vibing. But if you end up having 2 Alvar Plains and a card like Costume Artist on the field, you swing with the King Taurus, generate a token. You swing with the Costume Artist, pop the token. Great Plains restands the guys. If you have 2 planes, you restand Costume Artist and King Taurus, and you keep swinging for game. You can play Yatta Gloss, which is not in this list, which ramps you when you destroy instead. It's very. I don't know why he's playing 2 copies of a Nexus where you need 2 copies for like the infinite loop, but what do I know?
That's crazy though. That's so good.
4-card.
That's what I'm playing now, Kieran. Oh.
Yeah. It's a really just janky. But honestly, if they don't have the Ice Shield, like.
No one's killing Alvar Plains like that as well. Like, you play an Alvar Plains, tap something, swing with Ant-Man. They're like, yeah, whatever. Alvar Plains can live. Little did they know.
And I guess like when you go for that combo turn, like you play the Alvar Plains, and Alvar Plains has that effect to tap an opponent's spirit, and you get to choose what you tap down as well. Like,
very playable anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure this list could be refined a lot, but it's really cool to see this list kind of thrown out. And I'm going to shout out, I think his Discord name is Ori, O-R-I. He initially put this list in the chat at Worlds, so I'm guessing someone took that list and took it to this event. So I want to give a shout to the original creator, because we know like certain decks, like the White Tempo deck, that the original creator kind of got lost a little bit. Was it Hari? Was it Aaron? Who knows? No one knows anymore. But yeah, so shout out to this list. I want to see someone refine this list. I want to see someone refine this list here and take it to the preseason.
I mean, he's a big boy as well. If you can get 9 calls on him and put him at 12k for your kill turn, that's, do you know what I mean?
The fact that all of that was Worlds legal is crazy as well. Like there was so much stuff from Worlds where even now it's like that was such a rich and deep format.
Oh, by the way, sorry, sorry, I forgot to mention, like Dread Knight Nemesis also works with the loop, right? Because you swing, you pop a token, you restand Nemesis, you remove, you can, it's crazy. I'm not saying it's meta, but it's
that's a lot of draw power though. Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to this guy. This is the main thing. The bugs that die.
Caleb just writing it all down now. He's like,
I'm putting my notes in right now.
We're literally cooking on this podcast. This is great. But yeah,
specifically, one thing to mention is that that really annoying new blue card, Raging Tide. It says destroy all spirits that are not tokens. So tokens are gonna dodge it.
Yeah.
Ants are good, baby.
Okay, Emmy, make sure you cut this part out of the podcast.
Yeah.
We don't want people running wild with this loop.
That's the one
Bandai, ban it.
Only boys, let's go.
Yeah, group chat. No, just kidding. But yeah, no, we're pretty much done for the day. Due to time constraints, but it's been a real pleasure to have you on board, Caleb.
It was a pleasure being here. It was a lot of fun. I watch this like almost weekly, so it's really fun to get on here and talk to the boys.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
We'll definitely have you back at some point, and we'll have to get you on for a game. We'll have to get you a game in at some point because we will start filming some games soon.
That'd be fun.
And
yeah, Josh, you're doing an online locals at some point as well.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. When season 4 starts, I've made a deal with my locals because our locals is kind of it's just died. But we still have a deal getting in a lot of kits. So I'm essentially going to take the kits and they're going to sponsor a sort of online thing, which will be international, providing people are willing to pay postage for their prizing and stuff. It will be all prizing, and it will include the BCG Plus app. So it will all be official. And yeah, there'll be more news on that soon. And yeah, we'll probably be filming games and stuff. And yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Maybe a live stream on the Nexus channel.
Potentially.
We take a page from the absolute.
Yeah, maybe ask them for some help.
Well, they challenged us, so we need to.
True.
Wait a second.
They've.
You guys might have to show them who's up. What's up.
Yeah. I mean, of course.
Caleb is gonna be like suddenly part of our podcast.
Yeah, he's gonna be like he's not gonna be red, white, and blue anymore, is he? He's gonna be. But yeah, no. Thanks again, Caleb. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah,
Anyone got any final thoughts?
Shout out? Yeah, sorry. Any shout out before?
Yeah, any shout outs, Caleb?
Shout outs
for you. We head out.
Of course, I had to shout out, the D boys. Without them, I played a lot with them. It was a crew of people that we all came together. We just all wanted to do really good at Worlds, and I say we did that, right? I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
Everyone did pretty good actually. And then shout out to Andrew from the Brick Bros, and then because I could always talk to him about like the ramp deck and just get our ideas, and it was really good. And then I guess I always have to do this now. I had to shout out the hot dogs.
The hot dogs.
The hot dogs. Yep. So basically, I guess to preface this, every tournament I eat a hot dog, I do good.
Oh, okay. Lucky hot dog.
Wait, this is the secret sauce.
Yeah, this is the secret sauce. So at the Pro Tour, it was day 2, and like I had to sit there because unfortunately, the Ed Masu situation. So I had to sit there for like probably like an hour and a half, and I got so hungry. I was like, I was like a zombie. I was just like sitting there like about to faint. So I didn't even eat. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go outside. And then I see like this hot dog stand, and I get a hot dog. And then the rest is history. And then every event, I get a hot dog, I do good.
What happened to the one where you didn't get one?
Nice. All right, cool.
We're gonna find the lucky charm ourselves.
But yeah,
I think we have Taco Club here.
Just don't do the hot dog, okay? Just don't do the hot dog. It's gonna be unlucky for you.
Well, you said every time you eat it, you done well. So what happened the one time or two times you didn't eat it?
Atlanta, I didn't eat it. I was at the food court and I told Kai, I was like, Kai, I just lost the dice roll to Dango, and I was like, I don't know, I'm feeling pretty unlucky. So I'm like, maybe I should get a hot dog. He's like, no, not yet. And then I just like proceed so bad.
Oh god.
Then Tosla, I didn't eat it day 2. Day 1, I ate the hot dog, and I went 7 or how many? Yeah, I think it was 7-0. Like I didn't drop a game.
and then the next day you didn't
good.
have a hot dog, and it didn't go so well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Kai, by the way. Such a great guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
really nice opponent. I've played him twice. Was quite lucky to win both times. All of our games have resulted in deck out somehow, even before Mandala existed. But so,
Madness.
great guy. Always enjoyed the games.
But yeah, no, that's about all we got time for. So yeah, thanks again, Caleb, and thanks to Kieran, Harry, and Emmy as always, and all
Thanks
you guys for watching. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that kind of thing. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. We're gonna, I think we have something to talk about next week already, but that will be a surprise. That will be a surprise. So
Valentine's special, boys.
oh yeah. We might do a Valentine's special here, relating to artwork, maybe like a little bonus video for you guys. But yeah, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.
See ya.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
See ya.